Hello and welcome to Bomb Squad. My name is Andrew and I've already messed up at the beginning.
My name is Andrew.
Hello and welcome to Bomb Squad, In Dreams Club's PlayStation podcast. My name is Andrew Muggleton and I'm joined by my effervescent co-host Chris Sloan. How are you?
What would you call me? What did you call me?
Effervescent?
Do you mean
Effervescent?
effervescent?
Yeah. That's what I actually meant.
Isn't that like those tablets that you take when you got a cold? Like they're effervescent.
No, that's vitamin C.
Well, I need to do some Googling about this. I'm not sure about that. No, I'm absolutely wizard.
Your glasses look like Harry Potter glasses.
Yeah, I got them specifically for that.
You look like a combination of Harry Potter and Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs?
Yeah, he wore round glasses like that.
Okay. I think I probably look like the opposite of Steve Jobs.
Because you're alive.
Oh.
Okay,
I don't think I've ever worn a turtleneck jumper either.
No, yeah, and white trainers with blue jeans. Actually, I think you've done that before.
I've definitely done that.
You've done half the look.
I might. Do you think I could pull off a turtleneck?
You need to buy a black turtleneck long sleeve jumper and turn yourself into the modern day Steve Jobs.
Okay.
That would be fantastic.
Maybe on the
Chris,
on the website we could put up a picture of me doing that pose, my hand like in front of my face with a.
Please no. Please. Chris, what have you been playing? What have you been up to?
I have only played one game, which is the same game that I was playing last time. Literally as of about 2 hours ago, I think I finished The Last of Us Part 2. Got to the very end of it, literally with 1 day to spare until Ghost of Tsushima comes out. So very happy about that. But yeah, man, we're gonna do a big podcast talking about once you get because you're over halfway. You've got probably 6 or 7 hours.
I think I've probably got another 7 or 8 hours left, which I will have done within the next week or so. So I think our next episode will be discussing it in full.
Yeah. Once you get to a certain point, it kind of snowballs and you get through it. And, but yeah, like I said last time, I think I think it's taken me about a month. It's been out for a month.
Yeah,
maybe,
pretty much
3 weeks
actually. I think. Yeah,
but and that's just because like I said last time, I've put in like 2 hours at a time. I think today might have been I actually played 2 sittings of it today, so I probably did do about 3 or 4 hours. But man, it is a full on video
experience.
Game. Yeah,
absolutely.
But yeah, I won't talk any more about it because we'll get into some detail about it next time and the story and everything as well. So
yeah. Absolutely. And I'm in the exact same boat. It's the only game that I've been playing, and again, it's been kind of in fits and starts. With kind of similar to you, kind of like 2 hour chunks, or kind of a bit less or a bit more, depending on the situation.
But are you in the same boat, or are you in a different boat? We'll come back to that next time. Ooh.
I'm in the same boat, I'm going to say.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Well,
okay,
yeah.
We'll come back to
people that have finished Last of Us 2 will get that.
Okay. Let's jump straight into the news, because we've got a jam-packed episode of so many things to talk about. And I'm going to start it off with probably one of the most exciting piece of news to come out recently, which is that Pro Evolution Soccer 2021 is not having a full release this year. Now, this is because they are transitioning from the Fox engine to Unreal.
Okay, cool.
So they said they're not going to be ready for their next gen game. They're not going to have it finished in time, so they're not going to do a release. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because what they are doing is they are making a PES 2021, but it is PES 2020, and you buy a roster update. And you buy an update which updates all the clubs and players and the kits and things like that. And they're charging you £25 for this.
Interesting.
Now, I have long thought that this is the correct consumer practice for football games. Because year on year, FIFA and Pro Evo get released. And in my opinion, they don't do enough to justify £60 as a purchase price. I think this is such a good idea.
It's funny you say that, actually, because you've just reminded me that I've actually lied to you at the beginning of this podcast, because I have actually played another game.
What have you played?
Well, I was at a friend's house, and I just watched Chelsea get beaten 3-0 by Sheffield United, and I was quite upset.
Oh, yeah.
And the friend happened to have FIFA 20 downloaded on their PlayStation. I thought, you know what? I haven't played FIFA since I think I maybe played a game of 18, but really like properly played FIFA. I don't think I've played since like 16 or 17 maybe. So I loaded it up and I played a game on FIFA 20, and I swear to you, it's the same. It is the same thing. I was expecting like something a little different, maybe things to look a lot better. No, it literally looks the same. It could have been like 17 to me easily. But but like what you said about, they should just do this every year, £25 roster update. Well, like it's just not going to happen, is it? I mean, I guess
it's not going to happen because they make so much money from them by selling a full game. But it's the right thing to do.
But I wonder if because the problem then is like, do you say you've bought FIFA 20 and then 21 comes out and they offer you £25 just to, I don't know, add on and get the roster updates and it becomes FIFA 21? What happens if you have not bought FIFA 20? Like, do you pay more to jump in, or is it just £25? That's the flat rate for the game with the latest roster. Do you know what I mean? What would be like a jumping in point?
So for Pro Evo, what they're doing is they are selling a physical form as £25.
So for the whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you get the whole game for £25 because it is essentially an old game.
Yeah.
But just with a roster update.
My worry with that is if firstly, this is kind of like a pointless thing to talk about anyway, because EA are never going to do this. But if they did, exactly. And they were like, okay, cool, we're not going to release FIFA 21 because, well, we are, but it's going to be £25 and it's an upgrade to this. If you've got it, you can do this. Because if they did do that, from the £25, £30 that they're going to lose from each sale of FIFA 21, they will just be so much more in your face about buy this pack, EA coins, or I don't even know. I don't know what they're called. The Ultimate Team stuff, and so I don't know. I'm just happy to kind of ignore these games and keep pretending they don't exist. But from what it sounds like it's everything like Madden and all the sort of sports
NBA,
games,
NFL.
NBA's 2K, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
Sure. Oh, it's because one of them's on PS Plus, isn't it? This month.
Yes.
Kind of weird.
Was it last month?
It's currently there.
Yeah. So that's our weekly check-in with football.
Good.
Which we very rarely ever do check-in with. The next thing is Hello Games are back. Updates galore. This time with No Man's Sky, it is the Desolation update. Okay, they're continuing to support this game.
Cool.
And this time they are going a bit kind of Alien or Dead Space. So now there are procedurally generated freighters just floating through space, which you go and land on, and you have to go and investigate. And it's all creepy and scary, and there's aliens in there that you have to fight and salvage it and kind of find out secrets. And there's rogue AIs on board and whatnot. So they continue to add just extra stuff, and I continue to be impressed at the dedication of that team to that game.
That's really cool.
But it looks pretty cool. Yeah, they had a little trailer with it, and it gives off a real kind of Dead Spacey vibe. I think they even spoke about how with No Man's Sky, it's always been this big, vast kind of space that you're flying through, but we've never really gone into the kind of the scary aspect of being alone in the middle of space. So they wanted to kind of hone in onto that. There's lots of other little parts of the update as well, but that's the main part of it.
Is that sorry? Do these things come out? Is that like an add-on? Do you pay for it? Is that just a free update?
No. So this is the mad thing with No Man's Sky. So there is a long history of big updates, whether big or small updates with No Man's Sky. And since that game came out in 2016, I think, you cannot spend a single penny more on that game than the base cost of the game. So every single update that's come out is completely free of charge. The one normally they do it like they release an update and then it'll be like, oh, and it comes out in 2 weeks time or something. Today they announced it, updates out on the store straight away.
Cool. Yeah.
Now these updates include adding VR support for the entire game, where people like Bethesda have made Skyrim as a completely separate $60 game or £60, £50 game that you have to buy. So yeah, their dedication to, I think they basically said, look, we know we messed up with this game, so we're gonna try and put things right, and also commit to continuing this game and developing it whilst never charging you again for it. They've said you will never charge again for this.
Yeah.
And it seems to be every time they do one of these updates, it goes back into either the top list of Steam or the top 10 list of Steam. So I think the marketing they get from these big updates kind of twice or 2 or 3 times through a year seems to do enough to bring in enough new people to keep it chugging along.
Yeah, I think so. the base game's on offer, isn't it, on PlayStation at the moment?
I think it's 50% off or so.
Yeah,
and I think it's now one of those games where it's not £60 anymore. It's like a £40 base cost or something along those lines.
I think it might be even cheaper than that, isn't it?
Is it maybe 30?
So. Yeah, I'll check it
out. I have a feeling it's like 15 quid currently, so that would make sense.
Yeah.
If it's on sale. So yeah, full VR mode available there. So if you have PlayStation VR, it's a quite incredible experience. The graphics do take a serious hit, but it's still pretty amazing flying through the vast openness of space in VR. Now, we're going to move on to 2 Sony-related things, as this is a PlayStation podcast.
Nice.
The first is Sony investing $250 million in Epic. So the makers of Fortnite and Unreal Engine, they had this weird kind of connection when Epic unveiled Unreal Engine 5, UE5, and Sony, it was all done on the PlayStation 5, and they keep on bigging up the PS5. They keep on talking really great things about it. So there was probably some rumblings of, they're getting into bed a bit here. But yeah, they've made a $250 million investment, which I think is 1.4%.
Yeah, that's what I
stake.
heard. Yeah, 1.4.
Yeah, which is interesting because I think back in 2012, Tencent, the Chinese tech giant, they bought a 40% stake in Epic for $330 million.
Yeah.
So you can see how over 8 years how big that's changed.
Just blown up.
How big, they've become. I don't know if there's much more to talk on it. Do you see any nefarious activities going on here in the background? Do you think it's just for money? Do you think there's some tech related thing in the background?
I think it's just money. I mean, I think when you think about how much Epic is making and how much they're going to make with Unreal 5, when Unreal Engine 5 is like good to go, it's gonna be crazy. So I think it's just one of those, like, you've got the money, why not? Because I think as well, people are talking, there's not going to be any exclusivity with it. There's not going to be anything that, you can only get on the PlayStation over anything else. And there was some talk about like maybe having, I don't know, early access to Unreal, or if some Sony studios might start using that. But to be honest, most of the engines that Sony's studios use are like pretty good anyway.
Yeah, they have a lot of in-house engines. I know, like Days Gone, that was on Unreal Engine, so they obviously have already started using that with some of the games. But they have a lot of proprietary in-house engines as well. So, yeah, maybe there's something there, but I don't see it being a big kind of like exclusive tech thing that they're doing.
Yeah.
One thing that I did see someone mention is with this. I don't know if you remember a little while ago, Sony created a like PlayStation Productions for their making TV and film of their games and stuff.
Yeah.
And Unreal Engine 4 was already used in the Mandalorian for most of the kind of CGI work in it. So there's maybe some sort of link between those two aspects, so using UE5 and having a bit more, being able to tap into it a bit more directly for these films or TV shows. But again, pure speculation.
Yeah.
There. Staying on Sony then, we've got some good news and some news to hopefully put people's kind of worries to bed. In that there was a report previously that Sony was going to be gearing up to have ready about 6 million PS5s for a launch, or kind of between 4 to 6 million. The new report that's just come out is that they should have between 9 and 10 ready for launch. So I think I think if you get in there with your pre-order nice and early, I think I would hesitate to say you're basically guaranteed. I think if you get in with a nice and early pre-order, I think you'll be fine. In comparison, Sony, I think they sold 4.2 million PS4s between November and the end of the year.
Okay.
So if they've got that stock available over those couple of months, I think it shouldn't be too hard.
Yeah, so I suppose as long as they can hit those numbers, you shouldn't really be in want for it, I guess, if they manage to get like 10 million PS5s, sorry. Yeah,
PS5s. Yeah. I wonder when we're going to hear this price.
Yeah, because Xbox have got their thing next week, haven't they? But I
23rd.
don't think they're going to say anything about a price there.
No, because rumor is that there's the Lockhart machine, which is their kind of cheaper version of the Series X. I think that's rumored to be announced in August. So I think it'd be weird for them to announce the price of the Series X without having even announced the other console.
Yeah,
I agree. I don't think
you want to announce the price of one that's more expensive with the price of the one that is less expensive as well at the same time.
Yeah, to soften
just
that blow.
Just as hopefully Sony will do with the digital only edition.
Yes, absolutely. Actually, sticking with Sony, we'll do what we'll knock out one more direct.
The best bit of news.
The best bit of news. 7 directors later, the Uncharted movie has finally started filming.
Crazy.
Was it Tom Holland on Instagram putting up a picture?
Yeah, he just put a picture with Nate on it, and he seems really excited. Like every time that he's sort of spoken about it, he's been pretty excitable about the idea. So Mark Wahlberg as well, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, he is. Yeah.
So, because Tom Holland he's so young. Like this, I'm so interested to watch. I feel like this is going to be like a pretty original story.
Are we thinking along the lines of the kind of Uncharted 3 young Drake kind of, but maybe a few years after?
Yeah, that's my guess. Is maybe 5-6 years after that. So maybe early mid-20s Nathan Drake and Sully's, still got a bit about him.
Yeah. Wahlberg is Sully, isn't
I'm pretty sure he is, yeah.
Yeah, I think he is as well, yeah.
Yeah, pretty excited about that. I know it's obviously a video game movie and everything, but...
Yeah. Well, it's who's the director? It's Ruben Fleischer? It's Zombieland and Venom.
Okay, I've not...
So I think there should be some schlocky fun.
Yeah, I've not actually seen Venom. I know it's pretty like mixed in how people think of it, but I really like Zombieland. I think
I liked it
great
as well.
I've not seen this.
Really fun.
The sequel wasn't done by him. Zombieland 2.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Sorry.
Double tap.
Yeah, I've not seen that. I haven't actually seen it, but I really did like Zombieland. So it's kind of I probably should look that up at some point.
Absolutely. Now, I have actually just got some hot off the press news.
Oh, no. Is it bad news?
I don't know how hot off the press. So I'm on Eurogamer here, and they say, update. Eurogamer understands that filming itself has not yet started, despite Tom Holland's day one post. A Sony representative said preparations were still underway, and the team is, quote, hoping to start soon.
This is classic.
So actually, let's rein back a little bit.
This is classic Tom Holland. People that are fans of like Marvel know that he's a bit of a liability when it comes to I think he spoiled it's become like a sort of meme that he just spoils everything in like interviews and
too excitable.
Yeah, just gives stuff away and yeah.
Excellent. Well, hopefully it does get underway soon, and hopefully it does finally see the day of light. I'd like to, because am I right in thinking at the beginning of an Uncharted 3 where you're young Drake, that was when he first met Sully, wasn't it? In that kind of antique scene.
Yeah, because Sully's working for the English lady,
the old lady. Yeah.
And he steals the ring, doesn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh no, he has the ring and he steals the code thing.
Is it the circle?
Yeah, and he puts the ring. He puts the ring in it.
and it always spins round.
Yeah. Oh, I love Uncharted, man.
Nice.
I want to play Uncharted. Do you know what? I'm really tempted to actually play Lost Legacy. Really tempted. I've never
I actually
played
bought it a couple of weeks ago. I think it's
it was
either on sale right now or it just has
Did
been.
we not get it on PS Plus at some point?
I don't think so.
Oh, damn.
No.
I kind of thought I had that.
Unless it was a month that I missed it. I don't think we did.
Yeah, that's like on my list to play, having finished. Because I will talk. Well, don't worry. We'll talk about Last of Us next time. Don't worry.
Yeah. We'll drop in little Uncharted drips here and there as well. Right, now we're bouncing over to Ubisoft. Or Ubisoft, as some people call them. We've got 3 things here. So we finally saw some gameplay from Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
I thought we'd already seen gameplay from that though, didn't we, at the Xbox event?
I thought you were being serious there for a second. It's
a little joke.
What a joke! What a joke! We saw real gameplay from Ubisoft, from their Ubisoft Forward presentation, and I've only actually seen little bits of it. But from what I did see, it was alarming, and I haven't really kept up with Assassin's Creed that much since Black Flag,
so
probably.
4, yeah.
So 4?
That sort of end of the crossover between PS3, Xbox 360 to PS4.
Yeah. And I just couldn't believe how not the same game it looked like.
I watched a thing about half an hour, like deep dive into the gameplay or whatever, and I played a bit past where you got up to. I think I played a bit of Syndicate, but the new ones, Odyssey, Origins, not played any of them. And I don't know if this game plays really similarly to those, but it looks so different. And just with things like, on Assassin's Creed 2 or Black Flag, where you jump off and assassinate someone. There's now like a mini game where you have to time something right, and that tells how much damage you do when you stab them. And it's
really?
Yeah, like there's so many different things added into the combat, which I don't know, it kind of look cool, but then it still has the sort of, it's so floaty and I don't know, it's one of those games where nothing seems to have that much impact. I mean, that's just looking at it. I know it could feel different with a controller in your hand, but like when I think of, I know this is such a bad comparison because I'm sure they're going to be very different games. So when you look at like God of War and you think of, like smashing someone with, like throwing the Leviathan axe at someone and hitting it in the head, and then running and beating like a dark elf with your fist, and then calling the axe back, and like it was so like tactile and you could feel everything. Whereas this, which is again like a Norse themed game, Vikings, and it just looks like I'm just sort of slashing with nothing, and it's just sort of nothing's really actually going on. I don't know. I was kind of hyped for this because of the whole Norse theme, but I think the gameplay has actually turned me a little bit off.
I've seen a few comments which were saying that because this is one of the off-year games, so there's been 2 years since it.
Yeah,
because I think they're doing a thing where they kind of do a game and then I think they do maybe 1 or 2. Like there'll probably be another game next year, I think, and then they'll have like an off year. I think that's the way they're working now. So this was one of the ones where there's been a 2-year wait, and I saw a few people being a little bit disappointed in that it from people who have played Odyssey and Origins before that. This looks very, very similar, just reskinned with Norse.
Oh, really?
Kind of mythology. Yeah, so I think from just what I've heard and seen is that it's very similar to Odyssey in the way it plays.
I think my other problem with these, and I'm, I could be totally wrong about this because not really play much Odyssey and Origins. I've seen a bit of them being played. There doesn't seem to be the like verticality of what you had in Rome or Florence, Venice. In 2,
sure,
and in 2 and its sequels, and even in Black Flag, there were sort of areas that were built up. Even in it was just called 3, wasn't it? There wasn't. Yeah, it's just called 3. Even in that, there was quite a lot of climbing, doing this, being able to go and take things down from above. Like that may exist in these games, but I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing a much bigger focus on actually like drawing people into combat, and that was like never like you'd never do that. No. Something you'd never ever. If you had to get into a fight with a load of people, you could probably win, But quite often you die, or it just gets so the gameplay of the combat was so bad that you're just like, oh, I might as well just restart.
Absolutely, and it's in the name of the game, Assassin Creed.
Yeah.
Assassins don't go around fighting 30 people at the same time.
Yeah, so I think it's just gone in a totally different direction, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Some like people love it. People thought that Origins was like the best one. Odyssey was like the best one. So fair play, but it just never. It's just really not appealed to me.
Again, not appealing. Yeah, and so Valhalla comes out on November 17th.
Okay.
And you have Cyberpunk 2077 coming out November 19th. It's going to be a heavy week for game sales, I reckon.
For sure.
So sticking with Ubisoft, Watch Dogs Legion has a release date.
Oh, I totally missed this.
Yeah, launching the 29th of October.
Damn, really?
So we have another game that's coming out before the consoles.
Oh, I might. Do I wait? Oh, I don't know.
I know.
I might want to play that by then. Actually, I might be up for it.
Yeah, I think from what I saw, I've seen it again. I've seen a few clips from it. Some people, I think the overwhelming hype level is kind of subsided a bit from the initial trailer. When the whole idea that you can be anyone in the whole world has, I think, revealed itself to more be like, right, there's kind of 15 subsects of people. You can play anyone, but you're all pretty much the same within these 15 different types.
They're like almost like there's these classes, and
exactly, and there's not a huge difference between them. So I think people have tempered their expectations a bit for it, which is only a good thing, realistically, actually speaking, because this was at E3, was it last year? I think it was one of the big whoa, I'm actually really surprised that this looks amazing. So I don't know if there's actually full video of it. There is gameplay.
Okay, I still haven't seen. I'll have to look at that
footage to watch. Yeah. So we've got a release date for that because that was originally one of those games which was like in March, wasn't it, or something?
Yeah, I think. But then it was sort of like I was expecting it to be next year, like for sure.
Yeah. I think that's what a lot of people felt. Then again, Ubi, Far Cry 6 is officially confirmed, and we have oh man, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this name. Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I think that's it. Yeah. From Breaking Bad and The Mandalorian. I didn't even know he was in The Mandalorian, but I've not watched it.
I think I did know that.
Makes sense.
I've not seen it. But...
Gus from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul is in it as the antagonist Anton Castillo, who is described as a brutal dictator who rules over the game's Cuban influence setting.
Really cool. I really like this trailer. I thought it was a really cool
CG
trailer.
Yeah, it sets the mood really nicely. Yeah. Kind of violent protests with this kind of I don't know. It's so classic cool villain. Yeah. Like you can tell he's a really nasty bad guy.
He's been so typecast, hasn't he, that guy?
He has absolutely.
I'd love to see him play someone like really timid and not really a threat.
Yeah.
Like I was saying to you when I saw this trailer, I texted you and I was like, damn, because this was kind of leaked, wasn't it? That he was the villain in it, maybe a day before or two.
A couple of days before. Yeah.
And then it came out, and I texted you and I was like, damn, that trailer was so cool. And I have never sat and played a full Far Cry game. Literally never done it.
When you text me this blew my mind.
Yeah, because I think.
I was sure.
I think 1 and 2.
We played 3 as co-op to get the platinum for it.
But like 1 and 2 came out before I was really like into it. 3 definitely came out while I was like, oh, this looks really cool. And we played a little bit so you can get it. Then Far Cry 4 came out and I was like, oh yeah, cool. Maybe I'll get to that. And I didn't. Then like Blood Dragon and stuff. And then 5. And I've just never sat down and actually played any of them. So I don't know if this looks good. I might this might be where I jump into it finally and also I think if it comes out at a good time, that's the other problem.
Well, we've got a date. Ooh. It's the 18th of February, 2021.
Sounds like a good time.
I'm sure it's going to get really, really busy though with new consoles.
Yeah, but like I mean, if you've got stuff for February, so you'd be announcing it, wouldn't you? I'm trying to think now what maybe like Sony or something could have for that sort of time. I don't really like Horizon's certainly not going to be that early.
No, Horizon I imagine will be a fall game.
Yeah.
I'm so when I'm talking about games, I go in such an American kind of tone with everything. What was I thinking? I could see something like Ratchet, not launch, couple months later, kind of like the way Infamous Second Son. I think you kind of imagine it's a launch game, but actually it came out like the February or March after the console came out. So something like that. But that's not a game that's going to take away from your mind share of something like Far Cry.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling this now.
It's a good time. It's a good time. Blood Dragon's the one Far Cry I wish I played because I really enjoyed 3. Blood Dragon looked so cool and so over the top.
Was it part of 3 or was it part of 4? I can't remember.
Part of 3, I think, because then I think the same thing for 4 was Far Cry Primal.
Yes, yeah, you're right. So they're so weird games, aren't they? Far Cry.
Yeah. But I think a lot of people like those kind of interstitial ones because they are kind of a bit weird and a bit wacky. My biggest issue, I played through all of 4. I think I even got the platinum trophy for it. My biggest issue was that, to me, it was Far Cry 3.5.
Yeah.
Like it really wasn't a different
I suppose
game.
that's going to be one of like the benefits of if I just jump into 6 and it's the same as 5, I won't really know. So cool.
Absolutely. No, totally agree. I'm sure there's been a lot more news, but those are the only things that I picked up on that I really wanted to talk about.
Cool.
So that's the news.
Loved it. Had so much fun.
Should we have a little break?
Yeah.
So much fun talking about PES 2021. Let's have a little break and play one of my favourite games, which is Review Bomb.
Boom. Do you like that? And that was the explosion.
Yeah, I did. I loved it. Now, this is a game where I go onto Metacritic, I look at 5 different games, and I pick out reviews which are 0 out of 10 reviews. And then I ask them back to Chris. I sometimes give him the date, and he has to guess what the game is.
Simple. I like this game because, firstly, it's so much fun, but also it's good to see because obviously, as we all know, Metacritic has a really in order to actually sign up to do the to do a rating for yourself, you have to actually upload proof that you've fully played the game and everything. So you have to be really knowledgeable about the game to actually leave any scores. So that I generally find that the scores are always really fair. So
yeah. It's the best way to gauge how good a game is by looking at the user score. Okay. Now I tell you what, 4 of these games came out this year.
Oh my goodness! All right,
and 1 came out last year. So I'm not going to test you on some old school knowledge. Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
Okay. First one. What a joke of a game. So you fuck the whole story up just to be progressive. For fuck's sake. Never buying any game by this developer ever again. I didn't listen to the leaks and played the game, but it was somehow worse than the leaks. Even the gameplay is shit. Rip this developer.
Oh, this is hard. Do you want to know a funny fact that the developer tweeted out the other week? This game, which is obviously The Last of Us Part 2.
Yes, you're correct.
It's got the highest number of positive Metacritic user scores ever, and its user score is like 5.5 or something at the moment.
5.5, I think. Yeah.
It's got like the highest number of It's got the highest number of user scores in general ever of anything by a long way, and it's also got the highest number of positive, but it's still been dragged down by all those reviews and people like giving death threats to the voice actors for it. So
absolutely, and that's terrible.
I thought
I was about to try and make a joke, and I was like, "No, we're better. We're so much better than that."
Yeah, awful.
No, it's terrible. Actually, all that's the fervor around.
Imagine,
is that the right?
Yeah, I think that's right. The effervescence around it. Yeah. Imagine logging into
you're my Evanescence.
I'm going on. Imagine sitting down at your computer or on your phone and typing out a death threat to like
it's
to
madness.
an actor or something. It's crazy.
I just it is completely beyond me.
Go on then, number 2.
Right,
I got that right. Yeah, was that right?
Next game, number 2. You got it. You nailed it.
I've got a
well
fancy
done,
pen. You know those pens that have different colours on them?
Oh yes.
And I'm writing my answer in one colour, which is pink for anyone who wants to know, and I'm giving myself a tick or a cross in a different colour, so it looks very pretty.
What colour? Yellow.
I've gone with green, but my other notes for the thing have been purple. Okay. So I've got purple, pink, and green. Do you know what I'll do? I'll take a picture of this and I'll put it up on the Instagram when I.
Perfect.
Our brand new Instagram.
Which I'm hoping you're going to get 5 out of 5.
I hope so. All these recent games.
Right. This one is probably the hardest, but I need you to inner your channel, your channel your inner time frame and developer name. Okay. So this is from 2020.
Yep.
The review 0 out of 10. Did EA buy Codemasters, or why is it the same shit as last year? I don't support such developers anymore. I'm pushing you on this, okay? What game does Codemasters develop, which would have come out this year?
Shit. Okay, so it's not...
Did EA buy Codemasters, or why is it the same shit as last year? I don't support these developers anymore.
Okay, so it's not EA. They're saying they've done what EA would do.
Yeah.
What does Codemasters... Yeah. What's some... So
milking the cow.
I need to think of something that came out this year that just was a cash-in, basically. Or this person thought it was a cash-in.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if this will help you, but this came out like, I think maybe within the last week.
Oh, no.
Or 2. I've been getting adverts for it when I've watched Twitch streams.
What
kind of? Do you know what kind of genre Codemasters are in?
No, I don't.
They often go brum brum brum.
Brum brum brum. Driving games.
Yeah. Yes.
What's a driving game that came out? Oh my gosh.
An EA style game. You can get this, Chris. What do EA do with all of their games at the end?
Oh, is it F1?
Yes.
Nice.
F1 2020.
F1 2020.
Good work.
Oh. Is it?
Yeah.
I feel I'll give myself like half a mark for that because I feel like
I actually think it's actually quite well received.
Is it?
Remember, these are just stupid 2 out of 10. Yeah, I think it's actually been quite well received. Okay, this is the one that's from 2019.
Okay.
12 hours into the game, and the only thing it succeeds at is being a Destiny clone that's worse than Destiny. The gameplay is repetitive, there is no story, and the characters vary from bland to just annoying. What happened?
A Destiny clone.
It only succeeds at being a Destiny clone that's worse than Destiny.
So there's a few.
I'm
kind of thinking it could be Anthem, I guess, because Anthem was like, but then it's like,
interesting.
Like this guy could be right. Are we agree? Is it Anthem? I'll go with Anthem.
Nice. Yes, it is Anthem. 0 out of 10. I'd forgotten. I looked at that, and its Metacritic score is like 55, I think.
Is it? Man, do you reckon
I can't believe how much that seemed to, in the wider world, miss its mark from critical. I don't think it even sold. Actually, no, I think it did sell quite well, but just the whole reception of it all was such a miss.
I had that game like pre-ordered at one point, man.
Yeah, you were hyped.
I played the like alpha or the beta or whatever it was that came out, and yeah, it was bad, man. It was really depressing, but I think the reason that I pre-ordered it was because it's BioWare, and I've got such this like soft spot in my heart for BioWare, but they just keep. They're on such they're like bottom of the barrel right now. I feel so bad for them.
They're on a pretty downward trend.
I mean, their last 2 games were Anthem and Mass Effect Andromeda. And then Before that was Inquisition, I think.
Inquisition.
And
before that, Mass Effect 3.
Yeah. And then was it?
Then Dragon Age 2.
Yeah, or did Mass Effect 2? No, they did it in between, didn't they? I think. Oh man, I don't know.
They've had a few upward swings during their downward trend.
I think we agree the last no, Dragon Age Inquisition was good. Yeah. Like a good game.
And this might be controversial, but Mass Effect 3 is a good game until the last 30
Was the
seconds,
last
of which is still
was
fine,
the last
but
absolutely like no one has a problem with this, everyone loves this. Was the last game like that they made Mass Effect 2?
I think so.
And then
universally lauded.
What year was that? Can you just look it up really quick? Or can you remember?
2007, I want to guess at.
No, because it's after that for sure. Because Dragon Age Origins was 2009, wasn't it?
2010.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
2010. So for the last decade.
Yeah, man.
So last decade, they have not made a universally applauded game. Even though Inquisition did win the VGA Game of the Year. But that was kind of a bit of a surprise anyway, as well.
Yeah.
And whatever, awards.
Man, come on, Bio. I believe in them. The Dreadwolf rises.
Yeah, well, what's next is Dragon Age, right?
Well,
that's the next
supposedly.
thing.
But we talked about this last episode as well.
Yeah.
I talked about how I'm really not excited for it, but yeah. Okay, let's move on. I don't want to depress myself.
I think we also said that this episode we'd be doing something. I can't remember what it was. So whoever
really
heard us say that and thought, oh yeah, you should. Oh, we're going to do a PlayStation All Stars new Battle Royale. That is coming.
Yeah.
We are working on that. We said we're going to make a new game. That is coming.
Oh,
don't worry,
should.
PlayStation
I'm so excited about
Battle
that.
Royale fans.
I've actually got a note in my phone that I'm really excited to show you. I actually prepped that as well.
What we'll do then, because next episode, Last of Us 2 spoiler cast, is going to be quite intense. It might be a nice way to break it up in the middle to have a bit of joyful fun.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see.
Okay, go on, number 4.
Okay,
we'll do this.
Next game. Let's move on. Back to 2020. Cool. So both of these are 2020. So, okay. The game sucks. It's 130 hours long, as 110 of it is old content, but it's being re-released for $60. It's basically a scam, not to mention the fact that the new content is awful. This one is awfully written. This person's terrible. This one's good. This one's pointless. And the quality of life improvements are things that could have been added in a free update. There was no point to this game existing, and it honestly has ruined the brand.
Oh, damn.
This game sucks. It's 130 hours long.
I'm trying to think of 130 hour
110
games.
of that's old content.
Oh wait, no, I know what it is. Is it Persona 5 Royal? No.
Yes, it's Metacritic's highest rated game of the year.
I keep taking these reviews too seriously. I'm like, what? Yeah, it's been so long since I've played Review Bot.
People actually hate
what game
this?
was it that everyone hated?
Yeah, I think Anthem's probably the only one that actually isn't a liked game.
Nice.
Okay, last one. This is the longest one as well. This is going to test you. Honestly, I tried it for about 10 hours to pass the first 10 minutes of the game and couldn't. Literally, I couldn't advance more than 10 minutes into the game. I understand that the point of this game is to be hard, and I appreciate a challenge. I've played most other games, Witcher 3, Horizon, God of War, Assassin's Creed, even Divinity Original Sin 2 on the hardest difficulty. In my honest opinion, this one is something out of nightmares, and unfortunately, not in a good way. Give me God of War is super challenging and gets you to die super often. The devilish smart Divinity Original Sins 2's NPCs are a hell of a challenge. Horizon Zero Dawn on ultra hard makes you sweat on the couch. But this one? This is no challenge. This is a waste of money. This game should have an easier difficulty for people who aren't Souls game freaks. I've never thought I'd write such a thing on someone's hard work. But when your audience spends full price on a game they can't play, you get reviews like this one. That review had everything.
I like that. They were really passionate about it.
Really? I like the fact they brought in, I've never thought I'd write... hold on, just correct the punctuation here. I've never thought I'd write such a thing on someone's hard work. It's like they're actually concerned about the developer.
Yeah.
But when you make your audience spend full price on a game like they can't play...
I'm a little bit unsure, but I think my guess based on the difficulty thing is going to be Doom Eternal, because that was... Everyone was saying, like, when it came out, everyone was like, "Oh, this is hard. This is actually a hard game." So I'll go with Doom Eternal.
Okay.
No.
Doom Eternal. The one bit that gave it away was this game should have been easier difficulty for people who aren't Souls game freaks.
Yeah.
If we're in the world of Souls games, it's Neo 2.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I'll pick the other color. I'll do it in blue, and I'll write that it was Neo 2.
Neo 2.
Duh.
Absolutely. Well, very
4
good
out of
effort.
5.
4 out of 5 is 80%. I mean, what's that in schooling for GCSE?
That would be like pushing a 9. I'll tell you that right now. That's pushing a... Well, that's new.
Wow.
If you... Old GCSEs, like like solid A, possibly pushing the top end.
Verging into
A-star territory. So I'm pretty pleased with that. Yeah, thank you very much for that. I had fun.
Yeah, well done.
Well done. I don't know if you saw this, but there was a thing going on, I think it might have been on Twitter, where people were saying, right, imagine just for a second that someone came up with the technology to plug your brain into something and it would wipe your memory of specific things so that you could experience them again for the first time. Yeah? And people were like, right, what 4 video games would you wipe your memory of so that you could go back and play them again and experience them afresh for the first time again? And people, I was looking through and I was looking at all the games that people were suggesting, and some really good ones. There were some really bad suggestions as well, as of course, but and it made me think, what would the 4 games be if I wanted to do that? And then so what we're going to do is we're going to actually just say what our 4 games would be if we could choose to go back and if we could like have our memory erased so that we could then go and experience them again. Yeah. So I don't know if you want to do this like maybe alternate, like one at a time or something, and then.
Yeah.
Do you want to start?
The idea of doing that one at a time. I'll start. I'll start with my most recent one of the 3. The other 3 are fairly old. They're fairly old. Yeah. The most recent, which is actually someone I saw on Twitter say it, and it would be one that I would mention even if I hadn't seen it. Is The Outer Wilds.
Oh yeah.
Not to be confused with The Outer Worlds. And the reason why this went on my list is that I like it when I play a game and I get absolutely enamored by it. I can't stop thinking about it. When I'm working, I'm literally still thinking about playing the game or going through things in the game. And I feel like I haven't had that much in quite a while. And this was a game where this happened, and I'm kind of self-employed and work at home, and obviously over the whole kind of coronavirus pandemic anyway, there's been a lot of time at home. But I started this game, I think, on like a Thursday night, and on the Friday I had a bit of work to do, but not a great deal. And I remember just doing some work and then just being like, man, I started it at like 10 o'clock on Thursday night, finished at like 2 a.m, and then during work I just had to like stop and just play for like 2 hours, because I had this like gnawing away at my head. I was like, I just need to see this thing that I was going to do. I need to go explore this. I need to find this new thing. I need to follow this thread. And it was so excitable exploring the kind of universe. And it's amazing the way it slowly dishes you out information. And it's like like a ball of thread, and a cat's playing at it and it rolls away, and you just suddenly it gets bigger and bigger and bigger as it goes. And it's something which very, very special game. Very special game.
Yeah, I was looking through my list. I picked 4. Well, actually, I picked 3 very quickly, and then I picked another one because the 3 of them that I've picked are all ones that are sort of like to do with the story. And then I picked another one, and the last one that I picked was one that I've picked just because it totally like blew my expectations out of the water for it. So that's my most recent one as well, which is God of War, the recent God of War, because that was one, when it was announced, I was like, oh cool, God of War, I don't really care about that. And then when it came to it, it was just absolutely incredible, and it just blew me away. In terms of like what I expected the game to be like and what we ended up getting.
I remember actually, because I played through God of War 3, I think, with you together. Well, I played it through, and I think you watched like a fair bit of it. And I didn't have much experience with it before. And I specifically remember the first trailer that came out. We went to play football the like Monday after it came out, and you had watched it, and you were like, man, I think I'm down for this.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna get this game. I think I'm gonna play this. And I was like, awesome.
Well, the trailer came out and it was,
so
and I was
excited
like,
for that.
Damn, this looks awesome. And then it got closer and closer to it coming out, and we got some gameplay, and I was like, oh, this looks pretty cool, like the way the axe works and all that stuff. Then we got the reviews that came out, and I was like, oh
my goodness,
okay. So, and I think I like pre-ordered it straight away, which but and then obviously you played it, and yeah, man, I keep forgetting about how much I love that
moment.
And the moment in the game. And I think when you get like, once you have beaten the boss, and that the part that you do after that, just absolutely amazing. And then the little twists at the end, special. And then just great. What an excellent game. Especially when you compare it to, and not to like speak badly about the older God of War games, but it's just such a different experience that to those, I think. Yeah. So God of War. That's
it becomes much more like that kind of the new staple of Sony narrative-driven single-player games, whereas God of War 1, 2, and 3 are a little bit more like gamey in their kind of kinetic kind of mechanics and stuff. Good pick. My next one is Metal Gear Solid 1. Ooh. I think I could probably pick any of them from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'd be pretty happy to pick any of them, but I think it's always got to come back to the beginning for me. And I have so many memories of playing that game and just being in awe and wonder about what was happening on the screen and in my hands, like the
memory card stuff as well.
Psycho Mantis, the memory card reading. It's just, it was mind blowing at that time. And I actually remember having that Psycho Mantis battle, and I was actually playing in my upstairs. We had this small TV, and I had my PlayStation 1 there, and I was playing. And when I first got to that fight, he says, I bet I can make your controller move, and put it down on the table. And I put it down on this wooden table, and then it started vibrating like mad. And I was like, whoa, this is incredible. And I think I had a summer holidays where I played through the game 8 times. To date, I think I finished that game 21 or 22 times. It's a pretty short game to finish, but I was so obsessed with it. The story, the setting, the kind of stealthy mechanics in it. It's so special, and to relive that would be,
man. The more I think about it, I don't know if we've mentioned it on the podcast or not, but we've texted about it a couple of times. The more I think about it, that might be like, if I could will a remake or a like a big remaster, but a full remake, like FF7. If I could will one game into that, because we've already willed Kingdoms of Amalur into it. We're all good there. I think
exactly. I can't believe we've managed that.
I think Metal Gear Solid 1 might be that game. I would absolutely give anything to play a remaster of that, remake or whatever.
Yeah, no, totally agree. One day.
Where to go next?
Right, what you got, Chris?
I'll go this way. I'm going. These get kind of an order. So my next one is Heavy Rain. So like I said, I've gone with story based ones for this, and I think we've talked about Heavy Rain before and on this podcast. I think about how we were playing it together, and then you had to go to work or something, and I had to keep going. And those of you that played it, it's kind of like a whodunit. And you control, I think, like 4 characters through the game, and it was that sort of game where, like, if one of the characters dies, that's it. They're gone from the story. You carry on without them. And, and you know, it's not something that I'm like, oh, I can't wait. I would love to play it again because it plays so well or anything. It's more just the twists and the turns and the revelations at the end of that game to do with the story. Just it was in the days before I was kind of like obsessed with spoiling everything for myself and like being like, oh, this is leaked or this. I just didn't. It didn't occur to me to be like, oh, well, who is the origami killer? Let's Google this. And when you get that revelation, obviously, you know, there are some hints throughout the story and that, but like when it actually happened, I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe this.
The innocence of life back then. Man, I wish we could be back like that.
So what was it, like 2010, 2011? Something like that, I think it came out in 2010.
I think, around about
so
then.
yeah, like that, being able to go back and have that, because like I said, I love a whodunit. I love a murder mystery, and actually, I think my other 2 games are both the same. So it's kind of that experience of having that again.
Excellent. I still love. I think we've even told it on this podcast, but I still love that day because I was staying around yours, and I think I had to go to work or do something, and I came back around, and you like stopped me at the door, and were like, can you just stay downstairs for a bit because I'm just about to finish the game? And I was like, really? He was like, yeah, I think I've cried at one point as well. I was just like, oh my God, what's happening? And then I came through and played through it again.
So intense.
Amazing stuff. Yeah. My next one, I'm going to have a couple of honorable mentions when we finish this, but my next one is Journey.
Nice.
Because playing that game was just incredible, such an amazing experience. Finished it in one sitting, and it was emotional, beautiful, just such a special experience. I'll never forget. So I'm going to do a kind of spoiler here, because it's so intrinsically linked to my thing. So I'm going to spoil something here, maybe skip ahead 30 seconds or a minute or so. Throughout the game, you have various kind of additional people come and join you throughout the game. And I played through the whole game with what I thought was well, I thought it was just various people coming in and out. And I finished the very end where you're climbing up the mountain, you go really slow, and then eventually you kind of fall over, and you finish, and then you fly off at the very end, and blah, blah, blah. I finished, and it came up with the credits with the people, and I'd played the entire experience with one person. And I was like, it blew my mind, because I think I knew that sometimes other people can be part of your game or something along those lines. And the fact that I'd gone through this whole journey with one person, it felt so special, like at the very end, like pushing each other on, and without even being able to say a word to each other. So that I'd love to just have that experience again, because I feel like that kind of thing is, that kind of game and that kind of like wonder almost is, it doesn't come around very often. Well, at least I haven't seen it or felt it for a long time.
No, I don't think there's been anything like that will get you that sort of same idea, that same feeling since then.
I feel very melancholic now.
Okay, my third game is Life is Strange 1. Yeah, nice. Really love this game. I played it. I think I actually played through the whole thing a little, like maybe a few months or a year after it had finished. Sorry, I garbled my words there. And actually, no, it was just before the storm had finished, which is kind of like the extra little story. Yeah. It's kind of like a prequel to Life is Strange. Man, I don't know. It was just something about that game, like the music. I still sometimes will listen to the soundtrack from that game. It's one of my favorite soundtracks to a game ever. The way it's played, it's kind of like I don't know. It kind of felt a bit like Telltale games, but a little bit more grown up in a way. That it's episodic and there are choices to make and characters' fates can hinge on it. But it felt a little bit more like your actions actually had more consequences than they did in the Telltale games, for example.
Yeah, I think that's fair. To say, for sure.
And then where that game starts in the first couple of episodes to where you end up, is quite a thing. I remember playing it and telling you how awesome it was, and you getting into it, and then I was sort of like, I was just waiting and waiting for you to get to the end of like episode 3 or 4, whatever it was, when you actually find out what kind of game it actually is, and then it's like,
absolutely.
Oh damn! It went there.
It went real dark,
and I was really, really surprised and really impressed with what they were willing to do in that game. It's a lot. Life is Strange 1 for sure.
Excellent. My last pick then is World of Warcraft. This game consumed, I'd probably say, or in terms of games that I've actually played per hour, it's probably the highest count of any game.
See, I would probably argue with you and say I reckon Hearthstone's probably. We've played a lot of Hearthstone.
Hearthstone is definitely the game that I've consumed the most, without a doubt. I reckon I've consumed
like watching videos,
several thousand hours, watching, playing, combination. Like I reckon several thousand hours worth of that. But maybe Hearthstone, maybe World of Warcraft. One
they're
of those.
Linked. They're linked.
Blizzard just knocking it. They're linked exactly. It's the same thing. This game goes back even before it came out as a huge Warcraft 1, mega Warcraft 2, and again, mega Warcraft 3
Nerd
fan. I remember getting my dad and I used to get this like computer magazine, which is to do with Macs, and I had Warcraft 3 and they'd given a review of it, and the major negative, they gave it a really good score, but the major negative that they gave was that the heroes in the game look like, and I quote, rejected Power Rangers. And it's always stuck with me as a weird comment, but I kind of understand what they mean. But at the same time in this review, they also then started mentioning World of Warcraft, and in the box for Reign of Chaos, it had a pamphlet for World of Warcraft, because Reign of Chaos, I think, Warcraft 3 came out in 2003, and World of Warcraft came out in 2004 and 2005, depending on where you were. So they were already beginning to like kind of hype it up and promote it. I'm sure there were like some betas and stuff like that. But I was fascinated by the idea of being a single person in the Warcraft world, and it captivated me for years. Captivated us for years, really. And that even just loading up the game and that music coming on, or what's it called? What on earth is the human city? It's one of those Stormwind. I was having one of those classic podcast blanks. Stormwind's main theme coming up is to hear that for the first time.
Yeah, that's true. Actually,
pretty cool.
Man, do you remember?
Would be walking into Stormwind, and it being super.
Do you
busy.
remember? And your game would just lag like hell.
Yeah.
Do you remember that moment where you got a flying mount?
Not really, because I was so slow at leveling. But I do remember it,
because there was always
it totally changed the game,
because you always had the option to do the like. It wasn't called this, but like the sky taxi thing. You say from like Stormwind and the big places, and the Griffin would take you on a. And it would just take you to a specific route, and you'd fly over everything, but you're not in control. And then you'd see some douche come past, some like Death Knight who's probably not even properly leveled himself, and he just like flies past flying on this huge eagle thing, and you're like, oh, I wish I had one of them. And you're like some level 21, like some, and then that moment,
some undead dragon flies past.
You finally get one, and you can just go anywhere, and you're just like, I can go anywhere on this map right now. Whatever I see, I can reach, and it's so what a game, man.
Yeah,
good shout.
It was so late that you got to get them, wasn't it? It was something. I was like about to say,
I think it was like level 60. Yeah, but because you could get a normal mount before that, like maybe like level 30 or 40, but yeah.
I think it's
For a normal
40 because I went back to play vanilla WoW, and like I was like playing along, and I got to like level 18. I was like, when do I get my mount? And then I think it's like 40. I was like, oh my god, it takes so long to get everywhere. I just want a mount. Oh man, I've got so many nostalgic memories and thoughts for that game.
Yeah, it's one of those where I'm like, I need to never touch that game again in my life, because, well, you know, when I played it last, it was over a couple of years where I was working at Explore Learning, so I was literally working maybe like 3 days a week for like 5 hours at a time. And then I would literally just get my 2011 MacBook Air and boot up World of Warcraft and play on that. Oh man, love that.
You know that moment when they make it free to play.
Excellent. Right, I got one more.
Right, hit me up with
I
your
might have
last
cheated.
one.
It might be 3 games in one. No, not in one. Maybe in one.
What is it?
I've gone with.
I can't even think what this is.
If you can guess it, I'll be impressed. Do you want to try and guess it? I mean, it's not really 3 games in one. There are 3 games. I think you can buy I think you might be able to buy it as one thing now. I don't know.
The Mass Effect trilogy.
I've gone with
the
nonary games. So 999, Virtue's Last Reward, and Zero Time Dilemma. There's like the Zero Escape games.
I've still only played
Virtue's Last Reward.
I've only played.
Man, I mean, for those, if you don't know what they are, you know, every now and then you'll play like the sort of point and click, escape the room sort of games where you'll pick up 2 objects, you can put them together, and it'll make a key that you can unlock this safe, and then there's a code, and you can then go and you can like swivel the room round, and you can interact with stuff. It's that kind of thing. That's what the puzzles are in the gameplay. But then it's sort of interspersed with this is these absolutely ridiculous and crazy stories where basically the nonary games, so someone will take 9 people and put them into these horrendous, almost like saw-like traps. They'll either have like around their neck or on their hand that will poison them after a certain time, I mean, where the kind of thing these games go into some serious like philosophical and metaphysical, like crazy, being able to like kind of, I don't know if this is like spoilers or not. Maybe if you're interested in this, then skip on a minute or so. But like, it totally goes into like being able to move your consciousness between timelines and between decisions that you might make in your life. And so, like, you'll play the game and you'll play it through once, get to the end, and these people will die and these people will escape. But then suddenly you go back to another branching path and you make a slightly different decision, and this happens. And then that's not just like a gamey thing where it just does it. That's explained in the narrative of the whole story, because you can like certain characters in the story can move their consciousness to another timeline. Crazy stuff, really cool. And the fact that, you know, there's some cool twists in terms of characters that carry on between them, and yeah, really cool. But I played it totally out of order. I played Virtue's Last Reward, then I played 999, then I played Zero Time Dilemma. But awesome games, really, really cool. Love to be able to experience them again.
No, excellent shout there. I remember you. I think both of us knew of Virtue's Last Reward, and then we both got it for our Vita. And I remember you played through it quite a bit quicker than I did. And then you told me, you were like, mate, you need to do this. And then over the course of like a couple of days, I had a notepad out open, kind of like taking notes about everything. And I was just sitting there on my couch, just getting obsessed over this and losing my mind about what was actually happening.
There's like
so crazy.
There's a moment in Virtue's Last Reward.
There's another one, isn't there?
Where you get to the end, where you finish one playthrough. And I think this was the first time I finished it. And it just like the moon explodes. and I was just like, what? And then it goes, the end. And I was like, what the hell? Like, what? When was the moon involved? Crazy.
There's another one by the same guy.
I remember something about this. Yeah, I can't. I'm just on like.
I can't remember the name. the Solomon Files, or the Solomon Files, or Solomon.
Dum, dum, dum.
I can picture it in my head. It's got like a guy in a black suit with like something red in it, I think.
Oh, I'll have to do a bit of Googling there, but yeah.
There, don't worry. There is another one if you're into that kind of stuff. Excellent. I just wanted to also give a bit of a shout out to BioShock. Just going through that game and experiencing that twist for the first time again would be so lovely, because it's kind of set up twists in games.
Yeah,
since
really,
then.
really cool.
I feel like I'm always
really
expecting
cool
a twist.
I would say I would also throw Walking Dead Season 1 in there, maybe, just for like emotional impact.
Yeah.
As a
absolutely. Good shout. Right. I think that pretty much does it for us. So it's only our bets.
Okay, well,
left to do.
yeah. So
sign off.
Last time we said we were going to look at the PlayStation 5 reveal video on the PlayStation YouTube account, and
oh yeah. This one, when I gave you my bet, I always certainly thought you were going to win this one.
I said 16 million views. You said 26 million. It's actually currently on 28 million views. So you win again. The score is Gryffindor have 70 points and Hufflepuff have 30 points. So
nice.
Yeah, pretty depressing. Got to be honest with you. I really thought I was going to win that one. Really thought I was having that.
I think I have a feeling we're going to have a similar situation to last year, where a golden snitch
comes in.
Settles the game.
What are we betting on for next episode?
Yeah, so next episode we are going to do something which we've done a few times before. So as of right now, Ghost of Tsushima reviews are out. It is doing fantastic, and it actually comes out as of the day we're recording, tomorrow or midnight. And we're going to look at we're going to go on Open Critic. And we're going to go the second one down on the left.
I like that you did that. I was going to suggest we go a few down.
Yeah, second. Yeah. Second review down on the left. We're going to pick that review. We're going to click on it. And then we're going to do a Command F and search for the word samurai, I believe. Yep, samurai. We're going to search for samurai, and we're going to say how many times that review, what's been mentioned in there.
Yeah, I'll go first.
Do you want to go first? Have you got a
no,
number?
I didn't, because I'm trying not to overthink these things now. I'm trying to go with. I know. As the Queens of the Stone Age would say, the flow. And I'm gonna say.
Very nice.
I always overdo this. I always think they're gonna. I'm always like, oh, how could they possibly do the review without saying samurai? And then they'll say it like once. So I'm gonna go with 4. 4 samurais.
Ooh.
I'm going to do it in a different colour to make it look nicer.
Excellent, because the number in my head is 6.
Could you do 7?
Which is not useful, actually.
Or you could do 5.
Happy to go to 7.
Could do 5.
I'll be happy to go to 7.
5.
Actually, yeah.
5 is
fine,
a dick move.
I'll do 5. I'll do 5. I have that. I have the high ground.
Anakin. Speaking of Anakin, you could go and watch our latest tier video, which we ranked all of the Star Wars movies over on YouTube. We have a perfect. Yeah, it is. I genuinely, I look at it and I think this is right. Apart from where you didn't like Solo, I would have put Solo up higher. I think to spoil.
Yeah, it was trash.
No, you said so. What was it? You said something in one of them when we start talking about Rogue One, and I won't spoil where we put some of these. You said, I really like Rogue One, but the first 20 minutes of it are absolute garbage, or something. That was something you said. It sounds so.
They're shambolic. The beginning, the first 20-30 minutes of that film are an absolute mess. I think I often
sure
describe it as
garbage,
an absolute mess.
though, and it really got me when I was editing it. Yeah. So.
Excellent. Well, those are reviews locked in. Chris, where can people find us?
So over on YouTube, you can find all of the Bomb Squad episodes plus our tier list videos, where we'll have a new one coming out soon as well. You can find us on our website, which is indreamsclub.com. You can find us on Twitter and now Instagram.
Nice.
Damn. And both of them are just at In Dreams Club, I believe. And you can follow us on there if you would like to. It will follow you back. Boost your number. Boost your follow number. And I think that's kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, pretty much. Do check out as well. We have another podcast which is to film and TV, which is called Realize. Do go check that out as well. We are getting kind of a bit more back into the flow with that one as well. So hopefully there'll be some more episodes coming up soon. But I think that about does it. So Chris, as always, thank you very much for joining me for this episode.
It's been effervescent.
It's been evanescence.
It's been evanescence to be here.
Yeah. and that's it. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Let me just have some of the black nectar.